Okay, so now I'm going to put on the writer hat, and we will say that I have been assigned a story called West Side Park Cleanup from my editor. And you can see over here in my inbox area, it has appeared in my inbox, and that's because it was routed to me in the properties dialog. Okay. Now I could go ahead and just double click in order to open it, but I'm going to drag it into my targets area because this is going to become in handy when I have to upload some content from my desktop. So for the time being, at any rate, I went ahead and I just added it to my targets, and I'm going to open it up. I can see that there's some background information that's listed here that I could click on and get a preview. I can see that I was told to take a poll, and if I go ahead and double click, or if I call up its properties, you will see that I can take a look at its comment right over there. But what I may need to do is I may need to do some searches for finding content to associate with this, either inside of the system or outside of the enterprise system. And that's one of the great things that Enterprise 6 gives you. You now are not limited any longer just to content that's stored inside of our particular database. So let me go back to the Home tab here for a moment, and I can call up my search. And what I can do whenever I'm searching, I can go ahead and search this particular database. So you can see I'm looking in Our Globe and I'm just browsing it. It's showing me everything that's inside of there. But I can also create custom searches, which can also be saved for my login. And I can choose to look at a Reuters feed that isn't inside of the system. So I'm going to look at wire images from within my Reuters feed and go ahead and click on OK. And you can see I get a list back of what those look like. That's not very helpful to me, however. I may want to see more of a lightbox view. So you can see, all right, this is interesting, and I may decide that I need to take one of these photos, which is sitting in another repository, and bring it into Enterprise so that it can be toned and placed in my print publication and moved on to the website, etc. So if I just click and hold and then just drag it onto the dossier, what happens is, let's just verify that that happened. There we go. What happens is it automatically gets imported at that particular moment. And you can see there it is. I didn't have to go into a different system and export it into a folder and re-import it into a new folder or change its properties or anything like that. I just went ahead and told it, okay, take this file, bring it into Enterprise so that it can be worked on. And now it's here inside of the contents of this dossier. What I can also do, I'm just going to close that search up, is also look at RSS feeds. If I double click on that, I can go to the BBC, for example, England or World News, and you can see that I will get rendered RSS feeds inside of a little preview area here that can be set up for me automatically by my systems administrator. And from here I could go ahead and copy and paste and bring it into my dossier as I see fit. But it's important to point out this concept that this content that I'm looking at is not inside of the enterprise system. With what we have called server plugins and content sources, new in version 6, you can define these sort of structures or tell Enterprise how to look into other systems to display the content so it can be very quickly assembled and delivered to the output channel of your choice. Okay. So I've gone ahead and I've imported that image into my West Side Park cleanup. I could say that I am also a sort of next generation reporter, and I was given a mobile device to take out into the field, and that I went ahead and I took some movies, I perhaps took some audio, maybe took some mobile pictures, etc., that I needed to upload into the system. Well, what I can do is go to these demo files that I have just listed here on my desktop, and I can just drag and drop right into the dossier. Now you can see why I've got that My Targets area. And you'll see this little flash video component. I get a preview over here in the lower left-hand corner. I've got properties over here. You can see they've got their own status lists. I can go ahead and click on upload, and we'll upload the file into the system. And if I go ahead and switch into the dossier, you can see there's that video. It is now actually inside of the database. And while I'm using a Flash video here, it can be MPEG, movie, AVI, etc., whatever formats you specifically need. We're just telling it to ingest it into the system. But of course, bringing things into a system is only half the battle. What happens if you want to export something as well? Like there's been a new editing tool that's just been released. Do I have to wait for Woodwing to create a new plugin that works with that tool? No. You have the capability of just right-clicking on something, and you can say check out. If I say check out, I can choose where that's going to be. It goes ahead and it drops it on my desktop. You can see I get a little icon that shows it's locked in the database, which means that nobody else can work on it. I can open this up in my editor of choice and make any changes that I want to it. And when I'm done, I just go ahead and say check in, choose that file. And actually in this case, it's the one on my desktop. And it comes in with my changes, the lock is removed, and if I go ahead and say show versions, you'll see that I've got both versions of this file now stored in the database. So if there is a mistake, I can go back to the previous version without worrying about it. Now inside of desktop demo files, I also had an image that I can simply just drag and put onto here. Here's the preview of it, image raw, etc. I could route it to a photo editor, etc. I can upload that. You can see it gets added as well. We also do have an option if you don't want to just drag and drop. We do have a little upload icon that allows you to find files and bring them in just as easily. If I wanted to write an SMS message about this particular West Side Park cleanup that's going to be sent out to our SMS subscribers, I could say West Side Park under cleanup today, taxpayers outraged at wasteful spending. So just a little, question here. We've got a word count in the lower left. We can spell check if we'd like. We could go ahead and print from here. We have the ability to choose some different pre-formats to apply to different things, creating a list, bold, underline, etc. What I will do is I'll go ahead and check this in. And we're going to say West Side SMS article. And I'll go ahead and click on OK. You can see there's that West Side SMS article. But what if I was actually writing a copy that was going to be placed inside of the print edition? And for that, I needed InCopy in order to do that because it works so tightly with InDesign. What can I do? Basically, you can go ahead and bring up InCopy.